Welcome to all. In this video, we will see about protoplast isolation. The term protoplast denotes the plant cell without cell wall. The cell wall is a hard substance which will make the outer surface and give the shape to the cell. The key advantages of isolating protoplast are: first thing is we can fuse different kinds of cell through plasma membrane, which is not possible cell with cell wall, and we can easily create the transgenics by transferring the foreign DNA inside the protoplast, and we can in vitro regenerate and we will get the transgenic plant. And third one, the cells with protoplast is used for biochemical and molecular studies. In general, there are two methods are used for the isolation of protoplast. The first method is called mechanical method, that is reported by Klucker in 1892, and second method is called enzymatic method, that is reported by the scientist Cocking in 1960. In enzymatic method, two sub-methods are there. One is called direct method or one-step method, and second one is called sequential method and two-step method. Now we will see about the mechanical method. In mechanical method, the cells are kept in a plasmolyticum medium and make a fine cut with a knife. So if the cut is made between protoplast and cell wall, then the plasmolyzed protoplast will comes out from the cell and it gets a circular shape. The key limitation in this method is very low protoplast yield, and it is suitable for vacuolated cells. The second method, enzymatic method, is applying the strategy of applying cell wall degrading enzymes. So the plant cells incubated with cell wall degrading enzymes such as cellulase, hemicellulase and pectinase, and these enzymes may disintegrate the cell wall integrity. The scientist Cocking first reported, and he used cellulase of the species Myrothecium verrucaria and used it to degrade the cell walls of plant cells. The Takabe scientist and their group used cellulase and another enzyme called macrozymes. These macrozymes target the pectins, and they find out the two-step method, that is called sequential method. So here the leaves first exposed to macrozymes to liberate the single cells, and then they apply the cellulase to release the protoplast. And this method is considered as a faster method and gives much higher yield than the previous two methods. Presently, so many commercially available cell wall degrading enzymes are available. Those enzymes are for cellulose degradation, cellulase in the commercial brand name Onosuga RS and cellulase R10. They use the cellulase obtained from Trichoderma viridi. For hemicellulose degrading, the hemicellulase and Rozyme HP150 isolated from Aspergillus species are used, and for pectins, Macrozyme R10 and Macerase are used. They are isolated from Rhizopus species. The steps involved in the protoplast isolation by enzymatic method: first, they collect the plant tissues in which the cells are loosely arranged will be much better, such as leaf tissues are better for giving good yield of protoplast. Then the leaves are sterilized with surface sterilant, and the epidermis is removed by gently peel it out so that the epidermis layer is removed. Then these epidermis removed tissues are incubated in the enzyme solution. The enzyme solution containing kind of cellulase. After certain time of enzymatic reaction, the major large size organic debris are filtered out and then transferred to washing medium such as 3 to 13% of sorbitol solutions. Then the protoplast are separated by applying centrifugation. So the direct enzymatic method, the leaf segments are incubated 15 to 18 hours with the enzyme mixers, that is cellulase, and the mixer is filtered and centrifuged at 100 G force for 1 minute so that get the pure plasmids. And this cells are washed with 13% sorbitol solutions, which is later replaced by 20% sucrose solutions. Sequential enzymatic method, here as a step 1, the leaf segments mixed with enzyme mix A, that is mostly targeting the pectins to release the cells, So it consisting of 0.5% macrosome enzyme plus 0.3% potassium dextran sulfate and 13% mannitol, and the pH is maintained up to 5.8. And here it is incubated with 25 degrees Celsius for 15 minutes and the cells become separated. And after that the individual cells are again incubated with enzyme mixer B, this consisting of cellulose degradation enzyme up to 2% cellulase and 13% sorbitol or mannitol solutions, and pH is adjusted to 5.4 is used. Here incubated at 30 degrees Celsius for 90 minutes. At the end of the step 2, the purification process by washing solution as well as centrifugation is carried out, and the yield will be 3 times higher than the previous methods, and the purity of protoplast also much higher than the direct method. So now we will see the key factors that can affect the yield and viability of the protoplast. The major factor is source of material. So generally loosely arranged cells containing tissues are much better. The mesophyll cell is loosely arranged and the enzymes have very easy access to the cell wall, and it is good for protoplast isolation. And second factor affecting the protoplast yield is pre-enzyme treatment. The lower epidermis peeled off from the tissues respond well. And another factor is enzyme treatment. So instead of just using one enzyme such as cellulase, applying two enzymes such as cellulase and pectinase will effectively give large yield of protoplast. And another one is maintaining osmotic balance. The agents are added to maintain the osmotic pressure in the buffer, that is mostly used sorbitol and mannitol. These agents are called as osmoticum agents. They are present at 450 to 800 millimolar level in the solution and buffers. So once the protoplast is isolated, it is inevitable to make sure the protoplasts are vigorous and they can regenerate into whole plant under in vitro conditions. For that, different methods are used to test the viability of protoplast. And 3 kinds of nutrient media are used. First media is called liquid medium. In the liquid nutrient mediums, the techniques such as drop cultures, in the 40 to 100 microliter of drops are made and in this protoplast are kept for the culture. And the second one is micro chamber cultures, and another technique is called multiple drop array technique. Here 50 to 60 drops are made in that petri dish and each drop containing 1 or 2 more than 1 numbers of protoplast, and they are allowed to culture. And another one is micro droplet cultures. Here the culture individual protoplast into 0.25 to 0.5 microliter of liquid medium drops. In addition, semi-solid media also used for culturing the protoplast. So the medium become solidified using agar or agarose and alginate gelling agents, and it is used to determine the viability of the protoplast. In addition, third case, combination of liquid and solidified mediums also used. So here the technique is called gel embedded protoplast cultures, and semi-solid media initially used to culture, later it is converted into liquefaction process. Thank you.